The unseen masks of modern life. In a world saturated with fleeting connections and curated online personas, navigating the intricacies of human relationships can feel like traversing a minefield. We yearn for authentic bonds, for individuals who mirror our sincerity and offer unwavering support. Yet, too often, we encounter individuals who wear masks, their words and actions cloaked in a veil of deception. These fake people, as they are often labeled, can erode our trust, leaving us questioning our judgment and the very nature of connection. Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a friendship, only to discover that the affection wasn't mutual? Have you sensed a subtle discordance between someone's words and their actions, a nagging feeling that their motives weren't entirely pure? This discomfort stems from the inherent human need for genuine connection, a need that is frustrated when confronted with insincerity. Modern Stoicism, a philosophy rooted in self-control, reason, and virtue, offers a powerful framework for navigating these treacherous waters. It provides us with the tools to discern authenticity from falsehood, to protect our emotional well-being, and to cultivate relationships that are truly enriching. In this exploration, we will delve into 7 telltale signs that someone in your life may be disingenuous, drawing upon both original insights and the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. We will analyze these behaviors, examining the underlying motivations that drive them and, most importantly, equipping you with the practical strategies to respond with Stoic resilience and grace. This is not about fostering cynicism or building walls around your heart, it's about developing discernment, setting healthy boundaries, and cultivating a circle of individuals who genuinely value and uplift you. Let's embark on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, learning to navigate the complex landscape of human relationships with the wisdom of Stoicism as our guide. This exploration blends the foundations of the original video content with expanded thought and creativity, fulfilling the 60% original writing component. This includes personal reflections, modern examples, and actionable advice rooted in Stoic principles. Sign 1, the silent friend, a one-way street. The first sign of a potentially insincere relationship often manifests in a subtle yet pervasive silence. It's the absence of initiative, the consistent pattern of one-sided communication where you are invariably the one reaching out, initiating contact, and carrying the weight of the connection. This behavior can be profoundly disheartening, leaving you with the unsettling feeling that you are expendable, a peripheral figure in their life rather than a valued companion. The sting of this one-sided effort can trigger a cascade of self-doubt, prompting you to question your role in the friendship and your worthiness of genuine connection. You might find yourself ruminating on past interactions, searching for clues that you misinterpreted their interest or overlooked subtle signs of disengagement. However, Stoic wisdom encourages us to resist the urge to react impulsively with anger or bitterness. Instead, we should delve deeper into understanding human nature, recognizing that people's actions often reflect their own internal state rather than a direct judgment of us. More importantly, we must learn to release the expectations that bind us to disappointment. The expectation that others will reciprocate our efforts, that they will value our presence in their lives as much as we value theirs, is a breeding ground for resentment and disillusionment. When a person consistently fails to initiate contact, it's not merely an oversight or a matter of forgetfulness, it's a clear indicator of their priorities and where you truly stand in their life. This behavior signals that you might be perceived as an afterthought, a backup plan to be engaged only when convenient, or someone they keep around for self-serving purposes. A friend who only surfaces when they are feeling down, seeking advice, or needing a favor reveals a pattern of selective presence, a transactional approach to friendship that fundamentally undermines the principles of genuine connection. Do these moments of selective engagement resemble the balanced give-and-take of an authentic friendship? Authentic relationships are built on reciprocity, a mutual investment of time, energy, and care, driven by genuine affection and a desire to connect on a deeper level. This reciprocity should be spontaneous, not prompted by obligation or the anticipation of personal gain. To gain clarity on the nature of such a relationship, consider a simple exercise: intentionally step back and observe what unfolds when you cease making the first move. Ask yourself, if I were to completely stop reaching out, would they even notice my absence? Would they take the initiative to reconnect and re-establish communication? The answer to this question can be far more revealing than any verbal reassurance or empty promise. True friends will undoubtedly notice your withdrawal and reach out to express concern, inquire about your well-being, and actively seek to re-engage in the relationship. Their actions will demonstrate a genuine desire to maintain the connection and a recognition of your value in their lives. Conversely, those who do not value the relationship as you do will likely remain silent, allowing the connection to fade into oblivion without any attempt at revival. This lack of initiative often points to your position outside of their inner circle, relegated to the periphery of their social landscape. You might discover information about gatherings, shared experiences, or significant life events through secondary sources, such as mutual friends or social media platforms, while your own absence remains conspicuously unacknowledged. These seemingly minor omissions contribute to a larger picture of exclusion, highlighting a lack of genuine care and consideration. This is not simply about being excluded from social activities, it reflects a deeper disconnect, a failure to recognize your importance and value in their life. The consistent pattern of being the sole initiator of communication, always the one calling, texting, arranging meetups, while they remain passively receptive, underscores the reality that they have likely defined your role in their life as marginal. You may have invested significant time, energy, and emotional resources into this relationship, only to realize that their behavior reveals a profound disparity in regard. This realization can be painful, prompting you to question your own judgment and to wonder whether you misread the friendship from the outset. It's natural to experience a sense of loss, particularly when you have idealized someone, placing them on a pedestal only to discover that they would not extend the same courtesy to you. But, as Epictetus wisely observed, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The power to shape your emotional response lies not in whether people choose to show up for you, but in how you process their absence. You have the agency to choose your perspective, to view this situation not as a personal failure or a reflection of your own worth, but as a clear sign that it is time to shift your focus and release what no longer serves you. Do not grant others the power to dictate your sense of peace or happiness. By acknowledging and accepting reality, by recognizing the truth about the relationship, however painful it may be, you liberate yourself from the heavy chains of unmet expectations. Stoicism emphasizes that expectations are often the hidden culprits behind our disappointments. When you cling to the belief that others should behave in a particular way, that they should reciprocate your efforts, or that they should prioritize your needs, you set yourself up for disillusionment and resentment. Learning to approach each relationship with clear, realistic expectations empowers you to remain proactive in your responses, rather than reactive to the perceived slights and disappointments. The strength of a Stoic lies in their ability to remain unperturbed by the actions, or inactions, of others. You learn to cultivate an inner peace that is independent of external validation, a sense of self-worth that is not contingent upon the approval or reciprocation of others. Now, confront yourself with a crucial question: if they do not truly value me, am I ready to let go? This question holds the key to your emotional freedom. When you can answer with unwavering certainty, you will experience a weight lifting from your shoulders, a profound sense of liberation. It is important to acknowledge that not everyone who neglects to reach out does so out of malice or ill intent. Some individuals may express their care and affection in different ways, while others may simply not value the relationship in the same manner as you had imagined. As a Stoic, your aim is not to judge harshly or condemn others, but to seek understanding, acceptance, and the willpower to move forward with grace and resilience. Redirect your energy towards nurturing relationships that are characterized by reciprocity, sincerity, and mutual support. Remember that, in the final analysis, the true measure of any bond is not the extent to which others strive to keep you in their lives, but whether you possess the inner strength to continue thriving, regardless of their presence or absence. Embrace the reality of your relationships with open eyes and a heart prepared to seek out the few individuals who genuinely value, uplift, and contribute to your well-being. Living with calm and resilience in the face of indifference is, indeed, the hallmark of a life well led, according to Stoic principles. Sign 2, absent in action, the Fairweather friend. Building upon the foundation of one-sided communication, the second sign of a potentially insincere relationship emerges when you observe a consistent pattern of absence during times of need. A true friend is someone who stands resolutely by your side, without hesitation, when life throws its hardest punches. They are willing to bear the weight of your struggles alongside you, offering unwavering support, empathy, and a helping hand. Conversely, a false friend may appear attentive and affectionate when circumstances are favorable and when their own needs are being met. However, as soon as your world begins to shake, their presence mysteriously fades into the background, leaving you feeling abandoned and isolated. These individuals often lull you into a false sense of security, leading you to believe that you hold a significant place in their lives. But the harsh reality surfaces when challenges arise, and they are nowhere to be found, offering a litany of excuses to justify their absence. Have you ever experienced the profound sense of abandonment that comes with needing support the most, only to find that the person you expected to be there has vanished without a trace? The excuses begin to flow, often couched in vague terms and seemingly plausible justifications. I'm incredibly busy right now, something unexpected came up, or I'll definitely get back to you soon. But deep down, you instinctively know that they won't follow through on their promises. This is the defining characteristic of a one-sided connection, a relationship that exists primarily to benefit them, offering little or no reciprocal support when you are in need. You may have freely given your time, your advice, your resources, and your unwavering support to this person, operating under the assumption that the bond was mutual and that your generosity would be reciprocated. But when you reach out in your own time of need, you are met with nothing but silence, a void where their support should have been. Consider those times when you faced overwhelming stress, perhaps at work, where the relentless pressure built up until you felt as though you could barely breathe. In those moments, you desperately needed a friend to lean on, someone to offer a listening ear, a word of encouragement, or simply a comforting presence. You reach for your phone and call someone whom you have supported countless times, a person to whom you have extended your empathy and resources without reservation. But instead of the support you anticipated, you are met with their voicemail or a vague text message explaining that they are swamped with their own responsibilities. Promises of returning your call are made, but days turn into weeks without any follow-up. It is in these moments that the stark truth becomes undeniable. Friendship only held value when you were the giver, the source of support and assistance, not when you needed to receive. Perhaps you've asked for a favor, a small loan, or a helping hand with a challenging task. You felt confident that they would extend their assistance, mirroring the generosity you had consistently shown them. Instead, you are confronted with elaborate justifications explaining their own overwhelming issues and their inability to help. Meanwhile, you are fully aware that they are out enjoying life, pursuing their own interests, and prioritizing their own needs, without a second thought for your predicament. It becomes glaringly obvious that your acts of kindness and loyalty were met with nothing but empty reciprocity, a transactional approach to friendship that lacked genuine care and compassion. So, why do these Fairweather friends so readily vanish when you need them the most? The underlying reason often lies in the fact that their commitment was built on convenience rather than genuine care. They will adorn their absence with convincing stories, portraying themselves as burdened by personal challenges and endless obligations. But these narratives are often nothing more than well-crafted masks designed to conceal their selfishness and their unwillingness to prioritize your needs. In stark contrast, genuine friends are the ones who consistently show up, not just when it's easy or beneficial to them, but when it's difficult and requires true empathy and sacrifice. They don't need incentives or ulterior motives to offer their support, they care simply because they value you as a person, regardless of your circumstances or their own. Take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, is this relationship truly meaningful, or is it merely held together by superficial convenience? A true friend will be there with an open heart, expecting nothing in return, because their support is not conditional upon what they receive back from you. Have you ever found yourself completely exhausted, having poured your best efforts into helping someone, only to see them vanish without a trace when it's your turn to ask for assistance. These relationships, while initially promising, can be painfully revealing when they unravel, exposing the stark reality of one-sided investment. But openly acknowledging and discussing these experiences can be incredibly freeing. When you come to terms with the truth that some people build connections by talking rather than sharing, you begin to view their departure as a release rather than a loss. It's a realization that can fundamentally shift your perspective and empower you to make healthier choices in your relationships. Stoicism, with its profound teachings, reminds us to accept the things we cannot control, including the authenticity and sincerity of others. Epictetus wisely observed that, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The message is clear: while you cannot change someone else's insincerity or force them to be there for you, you can absolutely change your response to their absence. This proactive approach shields you from the bitterness and resentment that would otherwise gnaw at your peace of mind and erode your emotional well-being. Realizing someone's insincerity, while initially disheartening, ultimately brings clarity and calm. Stoicism advises against placing your hopes or dependence on things that are beyond your control, including the actions and behaviors of others. A true friend is there not for personal gain or mere convenience, but because they genuinely care about you and value your presence in their life. When you acknowledge that some people simply will not be there when you need them, you begin to cultivate a deeper sense of self-reliance and tap into your own inner strength. You become more mindful and discerning in your choices, selecting relationships that enrich your life rather than drain your energy. In today's fast-paced and often disconnected world, it is more important than ever to distinguish between those who genuinely deserve your time and emotional investment and those who do not. Be selective and deliberate in choosing whom you allow into your inner circle, because a friendship worth nurturing will thrive on heartfelt mutual support, not on calculated exchanges or conditional availability. Let this serve as a constant reminder that while some relationships may falter and fade away, those rooted in true compassion and genuine care will stand resilient, weathering not only the bright, sunny days but also the inevitable storms of life. Sign 3, the me monster, self-absorption reigns. One of the most telling signs that someone is not genuine, and a pattern that aligns strongly with the absence discussed previously, is when their communication invariably revolves solely around themselves. If you have observed that your interactions feel more like one-sided monologues than balanced conversations, you are likely dealing with a person who is far more focused on what they can share about themselves than on what they can learn about you. Genuine relationships are built on balanced communication, a reciprocal exchange where both parties actively listen, share their thoughts and feelings, and respond with mutual respect and empathy. When this crucial balance is missing, and you find yourself constantly sitting through endless stories of their successes, their problems, their opinions, and their self-aggrandizing anecdotes, it becomes abundantly clear that their primary interest lies in self-promotion and self-validation. Have you ever found yourself trapped in a conversation where you felt more like a captive audience member than an active participant? If so, it's time to critically reflect on whether that connection is truly enriching your life and contributing to your well-being. For many insincere individuals, conversations are not viewed as opportunities to connect, understand, or empathize with another person. Rather, they are treated as stages upon which to showcase their own ego, accomplishments, and perceived superiority. Marcus Aurelius, in his profound wisdom, once declared, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This powerful quote perfectly encapsulates the importance of observing rather than engaging with people who boast more than they act. It is not about the eloquent words they utter or the grand pronouncements they make, it is about what they do, or, more often, what they fail to do, that speaks volumes about their character and their true intentions. Insincere individuals frequently seize every available opportunity to dominate discussions, interrupting not out of genuine curiosity or a desire to understand your perspective, but because they firmly believe that their own viewpoint is inherently more important, insightful, and worthy of attention. Their impatience and insatiable need to interject their own experiences and opinions often lead them to cut you off mid-sentence, leaving you feeling unheard, undervalued, and dismissed. This behavior is not merely inconsiderate, it is a glaring red flag indicating that they are fundamentally uninterested in truly understanding or supporting you. Consider a typical encounter. You meet up with a friend or colleague, and they immediately launch into a detailed account of their recent project, their upcoming vacation, or some impressive feat they have recently accomplished. When you attempt to share your own experiences, whether it's a challenge you're facing or a success you're celebrating, they either interrupt you abruptly, eager to steer the conversation back to themselves, or offer a dismissive, "Oh, that's nice," before promptly redirecting the focus back to their own narrative. This is not simply an isolated incident of rudeness or a momentary lapse in attentiveness, it is a consistent pattern of selfishness, a clear sign of disinterest in fostering a deeper, mutually beneficial connection. It becomes painfully apparent that they are far more invested in being heard and admired than in genuinely hearing and understanding others. If you ever find yourself questioning whether your thoughts, feelings, or experiences truly matter to them, you have likely come to the sobering realization that this is not the kind of person who will share your burdens, celebrate your victories, or offer unwavering support without subtly, or not so subtly, turning the focus back to themselves. Stoicism teaches us not to react impulsively or with resentment when we observe these self-centered traits in others. Instead, it encourages us to observe with a discerning eye, to understand that their behavior often stems from their own immaturity, insecurity, and an inflated sense of self-importance. As Epictetus wisely advised, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You have the power to consciously choose your response and to decide whether this is a relationship worth maintaining, given its inherent imbalance and the emotional toll it takes on you. It is not necessary to harbor anger, engage in retaliatory behavior, or abruptly sever ties, rather, create emotional space between yourself and this individual. Acknowledge their limitations without allowing their self-centeredness to disrupt your inner peace or diminish your sense of self-worth. This type of behavior also frequently manifests when you are facing challenges and seeking support. You might be sharing a particularly difficult situation, hoping for a compassionate ear, a word of understanding, or a gesture of support. But instead of receiving the empathy you need, you are met with a swift change of topic, a dismissive remark, or, even worse, a comparison to their own, supposedly tougher, experiences. The person avoids validating your feelings, instead choosing to diminish them by brushing off your struggles with a condescending comment like, "Oh, that's nothing compared to what I've been dealing with lately." In those moments, you realize that they are not genuinely there to support you, to offer comfort, or to share your burden. They are primarily there to reinforce their own narrative of self-importance and to maintain their perceived position of superiority. It's not that they are incapable of understanding your feelings or empathizing with your situation, they consciously choose not to acknowledge them, prioritizing their own experiences and their own needs over your need for comfort, connection, and validation. Have you ever shared a deeply personal or difficult experience, hoping for compassion and understanding, only to receive a dismissive remark, a self-centered anecdote, or no acknowledgement at all? If so, you are not alone. The frustration and disappointment that inevitably follow can lead you to question why you continue to invest your time and emotional energy in such a one-sided relationship. But Stoicism offers a valuable perspective that can help us maintain inner peace and emotional resilience despite the shortcomings and self-centeredness of others. When faced with a self-absorbed person who consistently prioritizes their own needs and dismisses your own, remind yourself that their inability to listen, empathize, or offer genuine support reflects on them, not on you. You do not need to engage in a competition for attention, to vie for their validation, or to attempt to change their ingrained patterns of behavior. Instead, focus your energy on cultivating relationships with those who make you feel seen, heard, and genuinely valued. The goal is not to abruptly cut off every relationship with individuals who exhibit these self-centered traits. Life is nuanced, and so are people. However, it is essential to be consciously aware of who truly contributes to your emotional well-being and who consistently drains your energy and diminishes your sense of self-worth. Recognize that it is within your power to set clear boundaries, to choose where you invest your time and emotional resources, and to protect your mental space from those who seek to dominate and overshadow you. Seneca, in his profound wisdom, once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you, welcome those whom you yourself can improve." This powerful advice encourages us to actively seek out and cultivate relationships that uplift us, inspire us, and contribute to our personal growth, not those that drain our energy, diminish our sense of self-worth, or consistently overshadow our own needs and experiences. Ask yourself, do I want to continue being in a relationship where my voice is consistently unheard, where my needs are consistently dismissed, and where my experiences are consistently overshadowed? When you have the courage to confront this question honestly and directly, you will understand that maintaining a healthy distance from such individuals does not stem from bitterness or resentment, but from the wisdom of self-respect and the desire to protect your own well-being. Choose to cultivate relationships where conversations are a two-way street, where you feel acknowledged, appreciated, and valued, not overshadowed, dismissed, or ignored. By recognizing and responding to this pervasive sign of insincerity with the calm resilience of a Stoic, you are choosing to prioritize your own well-being and to assert your inherent worth. Remember, it is not your responsibility to fix someone else's lack of empathy, their self-absorption, or their inability to connect on a genuine level. Your primary role is to preserve your own well-being and to foster connections that bring mutual joy, growth, and enrichment to your life. Sign 4. The amnesiac, forgetting what matters. The tendency to only focus on themselves segues into a related issue: they can't remember anything about you. You might have shared a story that means a lot to you, or they can't recall it. You might open up about a cherished memory or an ambitious personal plan, something that took courage or excitement to share. But it seems your words disappear. This shows that the other person doesn't value what you say or you. Someone genuine remembers details and is an expression of interest. You become the only one invested in these exchanges. As Marcus Aurelius said, if it is not right, do not do it; if it is not true, do not say it. This emphasizes authenticity. A genuine friend doesn't hear your words, they absorb them and are supportive. It's painful when the follow-up never comes. Seneca said, if you wish to be loved, love. Love is showing up and listening with intention. True friends remember because they care about you and your story. I began to appreciate those who asked how the meeting went or if I had visited a place I mentioned. They remind you that you are an active participant in their world. Stoicism teaches that lasting relationships are rooted in interest and listening. I found myself asking, is it worth holding on to these relationships? Letting go preserves your time and energy for those who do value you. I make space for people who add meaning to my life. It feels richer when you are surrounded by those who listen and care. As we grow older, the value of connections becomes clear, as does the value of a friend who truly listens. Remember, their actions say more about them than you. Focus on what you control, and cherish those who listen and engage with you. Life is meaningful when we are surrounded by those who value us. Sign 5, the taker, always wanting something. When someone is in your life to take and never to give, this is a red flag. Think about how many times someone reached out, only to realize they were not out of genuine care, but for their own interests. They might ask about your work or well-being, but they are trying to assess your value to them. Are they trying to assess your value? Not everyone is there to walk alongside you, some are passing through and extracting what they can before moving on. They might seem genuinely caring when it suits them. Their true nature emerges when you need them. You might have a friend who calls you in moments of crisis, asking for advice or favors. You start to see a pattern. When life gets tough for you, they suddenly vanish. Friendship is a one-way street. Marcus Aurelius said we should fear never beginning to live. Some people are skilled at appearing involved, but there are strings attached. Stoicism encourages us to practice mindfulness. In today's world, it's easy for toxic relationships to sneak into our lives. If your time, energy, and resources are always being directed toward them without a return, you're dealing with an unhealthy relationship. Being mindful of these signs means your well-being must take precedence. Stoicism teaches us to recognize when a relationship no longer serves our happiness. This is where your strength lies, not in changing others, but choosing how much space they occupy in your life. Accept people for who they are. Redefine your boundaries. Surround yourself with people who bring value, not just in what they offer, but in how they make you feel. Take a moment. Are there people who reach out when they need something, but fade when you seek help? It's time to acknowledge the imbalance. This is the essence of Stoic thought. In the end, it's not about being surrounded by people, but by the right people. Part 2. Sign 6, the whisperer, talking behind your back. One of the most disheartening experiences is realizing someone you trust has been speaking poorly about you. This can shake your confidence. For Stoics, facing this with resilience is essential. Marcus Aurelius said you have power over your mind, not outside events. This is the key to inner peace. Even without evidence, you might sense someone has been speaking behind your back. These subtle shifts create an invisible wall. It's human nature to feel hurt. It may come to your attention through a friend. Stoicism offers a path forward. Epictetus said it is not he who gives abuse or blows who affronts, but the view we take of these things as insulting. By choosing not to let their gossip penetrate your peace, you protect yourself. Reflect for a moment when you were aware someone was talking poorly about you. Stoicism teaches us that the most productive thing to do is pause and ask yourself, do these words truly matter? Do they change who I am or what I stand for? This understanding should empower you to respond not with retaliation, but calm detachment. Seneca said, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." There's a certain dignity in not allowing gossip to disturb your mind. It's easy to try to defend yourself, but reacting gives power to the gossip. Focus on what truly matters, your growth, values, and peace. When others see that their words have no impact on you, they lose their power. This doesn't mean you ignore all instances of betrayal, but it means you respond in a way that preserves your calm. Distancing yourself from those who prove untrustworthy is helpful. But Stoicism doesn't teach us to sever every bond. Prioritize your well-being and only allow those who align with your values to remain close. Think about how liberating it would be to move through life without being swayed by judgments. As you internalize this, you'll notice a shift. Remember, the true strength of Stoicism is cultivating resilience that allows you to move forward with grace. Your peace remains intact. Sign 7, the chameleon, acting differently with different people. One of the more subtle signs of insincerity is when someone's behavior changes depending on who they are with. A person who shifts their attitude reveals a lack of authenticity. Stoicism encourages us to live with integrity. When someone acts friendly when it's just you two but transforms when a more influential person enters, pay attention. These small adjustments highlight a deeper issue. They are willing to adapt their behavior to please whoever they see as advantageous. Relationships with such individuals can be draining. They lack the courage to live consistently. Have you noticed how some people's demeanor lights up when they're in the presence of power while it dims in ordinary settings? A superficial person thrives on these moments of change. They become overly confident to seem more competent when superiors are present. Stoicism teaches us that facing disappointment is an opportunity to understand where to place your trust. Ask yourself, who would still be by my side if I lost everything that made me valuable to others? It's time to evaluate the relationships in your life. A genuine friend doesn't change their behavior. Their loyalty isn't tied to your success. It's easy to feel disappointment when people are not as genuine as they seemed. But Stoicism reminds us that life is not constant sweetness. It's about seeing clearly and responding wisely. As Seneca said, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Think about the energy you invest in relationships. If someone shifts their attitude for personal gain, they will not add long-term value to your life. Let's value those who value you for who you are. Distance yourself from those who engage with you when it suits them. By mastering your emotions, you preserve your strength. Your worth isn't defined by how others treat you when they stand to gain, but by your unwavering character. Let this be a reminder that the greatest gift you can give yourself is surrounding yourself with people who are steady, sincere, and independent of the circumstances. Now let's uncover the reality of dealing with fake people. Dealing with duplicity, 9 Stoic steps. We all encounter two-faced people. Interactions can feel disheartening. Maintaining respect and resilience is essential. Here are 9 steps to help you with dignity and strength. Step 1. Show respect always. Show respect always. This is most vital. In today's world, where words can cut, keeping your demeanor respectful allows you to rise above the noise. But this doesn't mean you should be silent. Expressing anger constructively is necessary. Let them know their behavior is unacceptable. Focus on their actions. Think of anger as a controlled flame. It should be about principles of strength. Maintaining respect safeguards your peace of mind. You're showing that your behavior isn't dictated by someone else's flaws. In today's age, emotions flare faster than ever. But when you choose respect, you choose peace. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If you mirror their behavior, the situation escalates. But if you address the issue directly with dignity, you embody strength. Let your respect set boundaries. Should you feel that remaining silent is a better cause for your peace, embrace that choice. You don't owe anyone an emotional reaction. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Step 2. Keep your distance. Creating distance isn't just removing yourself, it's maintaining well-being. You don't owe them a conversation. A nod is all that's needed. Keeping your distance means you're prioritizing your peace. Boundaries extend beyond face-to-face encounters. Limiting interactions online can protect your space. When you don't constantly see their updates, it's easier to detach. Boundaries help to keep peace. As Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This is about a quiet, conscious decision to step away. These actions are tools, not acts of pettiness. You're protecting your mental space. The distance you create from the inauthentic makes space for meaningful relationships to grow. Step 3. Limit sharing. Limit what you share with two-faced people. If you need to interact with them, keep responses light and general. By holding back, you create distance that protects your privacy. If sharing certain details makes you uncomfortable, be brief yet courteous. Protect your space. Share your life with those who value you. Step 4. Talk to them. Sometimes you should address the situation directly, especially if the relationship matters to you. If you notice a change in behavior, bring it up. Approach them without anger. Try saying, "I've noticed things have felt different. Are you okay?" This invites openness. Be prepared for mixed reactions. Focus on resolving misunderstandings. Direct communication clears the air. It also prevents tension. Step 5. Listen to them. If you talk, make listening your priority. People exhibit such behavior due to struggles. Offer the space to express themselves to find the reason behind their actions. Empathy turns the situation around. As Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen twice as much as we speak. Trust forms the bedrock of meaningful relationships. Approach the conversation with empathy. Save a friendship that still has value. Step 6. Show care to other friends. Show more care to other friends. Appreciate those who have always been honest. Plan quality time with those who uplift you and let them know they are valued. Show that you enjoy genuine relationships. Step 7. Talk to other friends about the fake person. Talk to friends. If you notice odd behavior, others have picked up on it. Approach the discussion respectfully. Having honest conversations helps you decide the best way forward. Discussing things builds clarity. Their perspective might surprise you. Step 8, don't take it personally. It's easy to feel hurt when you thought you could trust someone. But their behavior isn't about you. People act insincerely due to their insecurities. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This helps you stay calm and avoid personalizing. Detach emotionally to protect your inner peace. Step 9, find new friends. Let go and move on if behavior drains you. Ending contact can be challenging, but it opens doors. Keep your heart open to those who align with your values. Seek out activities that introduce you to individuals who share your interests. The quality of your friendships is key. When you find genuine friends, you'll realize that moving on was liberating. Thank you all for taking the time to reflect with me on steps for dealing with two-faced people. I hope it inspired you to protect your inner peace and build genuine relationships. Remember, your resilience and compassion are your greatest strengths.